some more.
Yo, what's good, people? Izzy Max here. Back again with something a little more casual. This is a gym league that I'm in, and I'm a gym leader, and it is team-based. So my theme for my team is kaijus from the Godzilla franchise. And I had my first challenger today, Caleb here, as you see on screen, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. I had this pre-recorded while we were in-game with my opponent actually talking to me while we were playing, but my audio file got corrupted. So we're just going to go ahead and I'll talk you through kind of what happens here. I did speed the video up so we can kind of get a quicker recap, because this is best 2 out of 3, but it's double 6v6. So here you see he led off with Mudsdale and Whimsicott. So immediately I'm thinking Tailwinds, but I do have a support Gallade, especially for my Volcarona. Just because I feel like if I can get Volcarona set up, it can kind of just steamroll through his entire team. Which is what I'm doing here, just setting up some Quiver Dances. As he does set the Tailwind, he goes for an Iron Head. I'm surprised he didn't max, because that's usually what Mudsdales do. But now that I showed him Wide Guard, I'm a little reluctant to click it again because I don't think he's going to go for a Rock Slide. So I do just Ally Switch here, which ended up being really good because he ends up taunting my Gallade as I get another Quiver Dance off. And he goes for the high horsepower into the Volcarona, which wasn't great. But we do get the Flame Body off, so now I know that his Mudsdale's not going to be doing too much damage. And once that happens, I just decide I need to get as much damage off as possible. I'm going to attempt to break the Sash on the Whimsicott, if it's holding the Sash. And then Heat Wave's just going to do a bunch of damage. And actually ends up killing both opponents, which is really, really good. He ended up setting the Sun for me. I don't know if that mattered in order to KO the Mudsdale, because Mudsdale is relatively bulky. I found out later on that the Mudsdale was not AV, so it might have killed. I have no idea. Out next comes the Goodra and the Cherim? Not Cherim. Whatever that mom's called. But here he goes for the max, which is what I figured once he didn't max the Mudsdale. And I know for a fact that this is more than likely AV Goodra, and I really can't do anything to it. So he does protect here. As I do just fire off a Heat Wave, this would have killed... yeah, it is Cherim. It would have killed the Cherim. But he does end up knocking out my Volcarona and dropping my attack on the Gallade. But my Gallade really doesn't have any attack investment. It's max HP, max defense. It's just a support set. So next, since he does have Goodra out and it is a special tank, I figured I'd bring out my Haxorus. This is going to deal with Goodra very nicely. I can't go for the Ally Switch. I tried. I forgot I got taunted. And I thought about switching it out, but then it just didn't matter too much to me. So I went ahead, and his Tailwind is up. So I now know that it's either a speed tie or Haxorus is going to be the fastest thing on the field. So it's not a huge deal, but Haxorus here ends up killing the Goodra. It does hit with a crit, but we find out later on that that doesn't matter at all. It is AV Goodra. So that does kill, and Petal Blizzard here does a lot. It does get the crit on my Gallade. And then close combat, it does about half. Not a big deal. Like I said, Gallade's not here to do damage, unlike my draft league. And here he sends out his Heliolisk, which I know is going to be faster than whatever I have. So I click Ally Switch, expecting, I don't know, maybe just a raw Thunderbolt. But here, he ends up protecting and then clicking Discharge, which was a really good play. He already seen that I have Ally Switch, so this was a good middle ground play. Luckily, I didn't get paralyzed, which would have kind of hurt. But we do just end up knocking out the Heliolisk. And my Haxorus is now at +1 special defense. I go ahead and decide to bring out the Excadrill, as I don't really know how he can handle the Haxorus at this point. I kind of killed everything that checks it, and this was just a solid middle ground. Just kill the Cherim, and since I do have the Focus Sash on the Excadrill, I know that it can't KO in one hit, and he's going to take a big amount of damage here from the Flare Blitz recoil, as we are just going to be able to knock it out with the high horsepower. So game 1 does fall in our favor relatively well. We played extremely well. But here in game 2, I decide to kind of counter lead, expecting him to kind of bring something to handle the Volcarona and the Gallade. So I decided to lead with my Sand Core. And this is the pretty much easiest no-brain lead I could have done. But from what I've seen that he has, he did end up switching out the Arcanine for Incineroar. And he ended up changing a couple items around. But seeing the lead that he brought, I was pretty happy with this. And this play was really crazy, because it honestly scared me. Knowing that he has Sunny Day, I figured he'd try to get my take my weather away. So I am going to go for the Rockfall. If it's not a bulky Whimsicott, it'll knock it down to Sash. But there's the Sunny Day like I expected. But he goes for Focus Blast onto the Excadrill, knocking me down to Sash. If that went into the Tyranitar, it might have just straight up KO'd. But I do end up knocking out the Heliolisk, resetting my Sand. And, unfortunately, this is a bulkier Whimsicott, so it's not going to be knocked down to Sash. But it is going to be knocked down to enough to where it will die after one more turn of Sand. So out here comes the Mudsdale. And I just needed to get as much damage off as possible on either of these Mons. I decided to go ahead and save the Excadrill in the back. I don't really know why, but I just kind of wanted to. Because differential isn't a thing in this league. But here we do see that he is going to end up maxing the Mudsdale, which is what I thought he was going to do in game 1, but Goodra made a lot of sense. And he does end up just Moonblasting my Tyranitar, so it does proc my weakness policy as I go for the max darkness, knocking it pretty low, just under half health, and getting the special defense drop, which doesn't matter with my team, as he goes for the Steel Spike, raising his defense even higher. So now he's at +2 defense, and just under half health, as we do knock out the Whimsicott, so my weather is here to stay. We do get some residual recovery from the grassy terrain, and he brings out here, I believe it's Goodra. I could be very mistaken. What do you bring out here? No, okay, he brings out the Cherim. So here, I just want to do as much damage, because I'm expecting this Woodhammer to actually kill. Which, unbeknownst to me, it actually doesn't. Which put me kind of in a weird spot. Because if that would have killed, he's weakness policy Mudsdale. So my T-Tar would not die from this. And we would be pretty much in a 2v2, or a 4v2. Oh, it would even be more than that, wouldn't it? Because that's my first Mon dead. Anyway, T-Tar would have lived. Would have still been around. But it does go down. I do have Grassy Glide, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. And from game 1, I do now know that my Haxorus is going to be faster than the Cherim. And while this is sped up, Rillaboom is jiving. But anyway, I do just go for the best play possible. And he does just double protect, kind of to check my intentions, see what's going on. Waste some grassy terrain turns. Can I fast forward through this? No, it'll be pretty quick. I just hit both of his protects. I'm going to end up doing just the exact same thing next turn. And there goes his Dynamax. It didn't really matter. I believe it was going to die to a Grassy Glide anyway. But, like I said, I just do the same thing. Actually, no, I switch it up expecting maybe a switch. Because if this connects, it's going to kill either Mon that he sends out, because I knew he did have the Incineroar. So it was kind of a middle ground, kind of not really play. But anyway, out comes Goodra and Incineroar, which are his last couple of Mons. Again, I know I'm faster. I know Goodra doesn't really want to take this hit. So to reset the Intimidate, I go ahead and switch out both Mons into 2 Mons that I really don't care if they die. My 1 HP, Excadrill, and then Gallade. So he does just end up faking out the Excadrill, which is fine with me, and Fire Punching into the Gallade. I kind of wish my Gallade would have died, honestly. But it's fine, and I just bring out my Haxorus again. And here we do a big, like, huge amount of damage to the Goodra. I thought about taking out the Incineroar, but Goodra would have been a problem for me late game based on what I have left. Because I know that I can't do anything to it. So that, I don't know if it was a roll or what, but we do see here that Incineroar is going to be Citrus Berry. So he is now above half health, and Goodra is now locked into Outrage, which is a really good play. I don't have a Fairy type on my squad based on the Mons that I could pick. And then here the crit I really don't think mattered at all, and if it did, I don't care. But the last couple Mons I have, it's going to be GG. He played really, really well. He said he was just kind of having fun with the team he brought. And I could tell. Like, it looked like a really, really fun team. But here I'm just going to fake out the Incineroar, get some damage off. And then Bug Buzz, I was actually scared that that wouldn't kill. But then we're just one hit away here. I can just Bug Buzz and High Horsepower and secure the win. So my first opponent doesn't get my gym badge. I hope he's able to come back and fight me with a real team. That sounded mean. With a team that he actually intends to win with, not just a team he intends to have fun with. But overall, that was really fun. I was telling him in our call that I'm super competitive, so I didn't really build to have fun. I build to win, and that's what happened. So hopefully the rest of the challengers in the league kind of have the same mindset, you know, build to have fun, but also build to win. And I think that's what Caleb did here. His team did have the tools to beat mine, 100%. And yeah, so that was fun, and I guess I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.